Hello and welcome to you to this out-of-conference matchup between Husson University and the University of Maine Fort Kent here at Boucher. My name is Philip Robarge, and I'm pleased to be joined by two fellow broadcasters today, as ever, Caden Trenowith, and also making his Boucher debut today and his broadcasting debut, Nolan Humphreys. Good afternoon to both of you, and perhaps some congratulations is in order, Caden, for Husson's coach Dennis Mullins as he reaches a milestone with Wednesday's win over St. Joseph's. Caden, how important is he to this Eagles team?
He's been really important. You know, he showed up on the campus in 2021, and he's yet to have a below 500 year. He's had great success in every single year he's been here. I think the most losses he had was last year, but he titled that off with a North Atlantic Conference championships. He can't say that was his worst year by far, but he's had 2 Rookie of the Years, several Player of the Years, couple Defensive Player of the Years. He's someone that has really stepped into the role, and he has won accolades for either himself, his players, or the team in whole ever since he arrived on campus in 2021.
50 wins on his career here at Husson. And Nolan, a lot has been said about this Husson team so far, but I want to know what your early impressions are of this Fort Kent team.
Yeah, coming off a big 6-1 win against Fisher College. You know, you want to see if they can build on that momentum. You know, Husson's defense was stellar last game against St. Joseph, so, you know, you want to see it's going to kind of be a offense versus defense here. You want to see Husson with their strength at defense, see if they can, just play better.
And finally, guys, what does a good performance look like? We'll start with you, Caden, from this Eagles team out here. Should we expect an onslaught of chances like we saw in the midweek game?
I think you should expect that. I think this game is going to be really won in the midfield so far in this game. 2 great defenses going at it, so it's going to really come down to the through balls, what could the defense see? Are they seeing the whole field? For example, against St. Joe's, we saw several through balls get in behind the Monks defense. Addie Lasley, Devin St. Louis, Jackie Pangburn were able to run onto those enhanced scoring opportunities, get some good crosses in there. The Bengals defense is really going to have to be prepared for that today. I'm interested to see in these first 5 minutes what they bring to the table. Those first 5 minutes are going to be really important in this out-of-conference matchup for 2 teams that haven't seen much of each other in the last couple of years.
Anything to add, Nolan?
Yeah, I mean, kind of like he said, touching on it, Husson's stellar defense, can they keep that up? You know, right off the rip, you want to see both of these teams, playing fast, playing their best, and whoever wins that first 5 minutes is going to have a good chance to go and win this game.
And with that, we are moments away from kickoff here as we turn now to Interim Sports Information Director Zachary Mills for National Anthem and starting lineups.
Thank God. Not even like an hour before. It's like, you should be here right now.
Fans, as Husson Women's Soccer takes the field today, they dedicate their game to Blood Cancer Awareness Month. They stand together to support those in their fight against blood cancers like leukemia, lymphoma, and myeloma. With over 1.5 million cases of blood cancer in the United States, Husson Women's Soccer hopes to raise awareness and encourage support for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. This organization is the largest nonprofit funder of blood cancer research and also provides free education, support, and advocacy for individuals with blood cancer. If anyone would like to donate to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, it would be greatly appreciated. Together, we wish to raise awareness, offer hope, and play in memory of Jeremy St. Louis. At this time, let's meet the starting lineups for today's contest. First for the visiting Bengals. A junior goalkeeper, number 0, Driana Thaw. A freshman defender, number 2, Davinae Lewis. A junior defender, number 3, Lillian Clark. A junior defender, number 6, Alessandra Giorgio Stathis. A senior midfielder, number 8, Pettigay Dixon. A junior midfielder, number 9, Shadeen Rutherford. A senior defender, number 11, Kamoy Brown. A freshman defender, number 16, Javel Alexander. A senior defender, number 17, Keldonna Jeffrey. A junior midfielder, number 20, Christina Jones. And a sophomore defender, number 22, Rosaria Talbot. UMFK is coached by Jermaine West. And now, let's meet the starting lineup for your Husson University Eagles. In goal, a freshman from Biddeford, Maine, number 44, Gabriella Smith. A sophomore from Sanford, Maine, number 3, Haley Tarbox. A senior from Ellsworth, Maine, number 6, Addie Lasley. A junior from Carmel, Maine, number 7, Lindsay Reed. A senior from Holden, Maine, number 13, Devin St. Louis. A senior from Kingston, Massachusetts, number 17, Kendra Donahue. A senior from Deerfield, New Hampshire, number 23, Kaylee Nolt. A freshman from Tinley Park, Illinois, number 28, Taya Gerfin. A sophomore from Las Vegas, Nevada, number 29, Paige Dunn. A junior from Corinth, Maine, number 30, Riley Speed. And a junior from Petoskey, Michigan, number 33, Emma Nicholson. The Eagles are coached by Dennis Mullins, and he's assisted by Nick Christensen, Matt Goodman, Chris Selby, and Megan Buddymeyer. Fans, at this time, we ask you please rise and honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
The referees are ready. Players and coaches are ready, and we are ready, and we are away. Husson defending the right goal, playing in all black today. Fort Kent defending the other goal and playing in all gray. Husson will get a throw in here. Dunn not able to control it. Oh, and early here. A big deflection leading to an early Husson goal. Doesn't look like anybody was ready for that.
Addie Lasley doing what Addie Lasley does. That's the second time in the second straight game she has scored in the first 5 minutes. She is just finding the back of the net at will right now. That's 4 goals for her, and she is making a good case for another Player of the Week honor from the North Atlantic Conference.
Of course, the winner 2 weeks ago. And an early start for Husson here.
Not even 45 seconds in, and now you can rely on that defense that has been playing so well for the Eagles. I think a name to watch out for the Eagles, too, that has been playing really good. Kind of flying under the radar, really hasn't found the score sheet yet, is Taya Gerfin, who's actually going to pick up the ball right now. She is someone that has contributed a lot and has been really good at dishing out assists and shots.
An early cross that time has been her strong suit. Certainly a lot of them and a lot of good opportunities she has created for Husson. Captain Donahue. And getting control of it now is Addie Lasley. She shoots. And early, she's got herself a brace. Addie Lasley, 2 quick goals. And the Eagles are 2-0 up.
We said in the open, these two defenses are going to go back and forth. From what we can tell on the stat sheet and what we know from UMFK, the defense for them has been very strong. The goalkeeping has been very strong. But those through balls from Addie Lasley, that speed breaking through the defensive line is going to be a problem for them. And so far, it's been a problem twice. We're not even 2 minutes in yet.
2 quick goals for Husson. 2 well-taken ones.
Yeah, we talked about it kind of before. The first 5 minutes of the game was going to be so crucial for both of these teams.
It's always important to win the first 5 minutes of a soccer game. I can remember my younger coaches always preaching it. Win the first 5, win the last 5. Eagles doubling down from the first 5. Normally you only see 1 goal, if that, in the first 5, let alone 2.
That in itself is certainly a rarity. And again, like you said, let alone 2 goals in just quick succession here as we have a substitution now. Shania Johnson coming on to replace Captain Lillian Clark.
Shania Johnson.
You mentioned it, Caden, to me before the start of the broadcast that UMFK had 7 listed defenders in their starting lineup. As that one will run on through to the goalkeeper, Driana Thaw. Paige Dunn, known for her outside shots there. The clock will need to be stopped for this one.
Yeah, Paige Dunn definitely has a cannon on her right foot. She's not afraid to take that shot from anywhere. Good job by the ref letting everybody reset. Won't need a injury substitution at all. Everyone's back on their feet. This one should just be a drop ball right to a Husson foot. Nice to see Donahue back out there, though. She's not someone we've seen in the starting lineup for quite a while. Madison Higgins taking over that right defender spot, but Donahue over 3,500 minutes played so far in her Eagles tenure. I think she's making her second start. Missed a couple games at the start of the season. I think she had just a little injury, but working her way back, getting her start back.
Also knocking on the door of another opportunity. As that one will be pulled back for a goal kick. Griffin not able to find a cross. You mentioned it, the importance of one of Husson's captains. Such a crucial presence on defense for the Eagles. Back in the starting lineup now. As here's Dunn. She'll take a shot, and it's in. And Paige Dunn giving the Eagles a 3-0 lead.
Like I said, she's got a cannon on that right foot. She's not afraid to pull it from outside that 18. We saw it in the Bates game. We saw it in the St. Joe's game. Finally finds the score sheet. That's going to be her second goal of the season. It's always nice for her. She missed last season due to an injury, but now she's almost officially back, scoring 2 goals so far in her sophomore campaign.
Just a curling effort that absolutely no chance. Eagles now blitzing the Bengals early for 3 goals. Just under 10 minutes here. 5 minutes here. Good challenge there. That one will go out of play. Nicholson and Dixon. Dixon unable to control it. It'll be a Husson throw. Foul now committed by Lewis on Tarbox. Nicholson will try and find the head of Lasley. The oncoming run of speed. Settling on the ball was Lewis, trying to find a way through this Husson defense.
Something that we've noticed from this Husson team, Phil, in the first couple games that we've done on them is their relentless pressure in the midfield. We said it earlier, that's going to be something that wins this game, and it seems to be something UMFK is struggling with right now. They just don't have that time to play around in the midfield like they're probably used to. Husson just on it as soon as they lose that possession battle.
Yeah, forward Kent already with a ton of mistakes.
Speed. Cross that's not able to find anybody in the middle. The through ball there cleared away by Nicholson. Fort Kent happy to let it go out.
Outside. There she is. First to this. You can pass her off now. Go on, hey. Hey, Emma.
That kick right to Tarbucks. And the through ball from Lasley to St. Louis, unable to connect there. It's certainly been two teams with two different energy levels early on. I mean, one team in Husson have just come to play. And UMFK early on the back foot.
I think it's also important to note for all of our listeners and watchers who aren't from Maine, a lot of people think that MAP ends at Bangor. But matter of fact, Fort Kent is 3 hours north of here. So they had to leave pretty early in the morning to get here for this 1 o'clock game. They started doing warm-ups. They pulled in here about 11, 10 o'clock. So they've been on the road pretty much all day. If you don't get a good warm-up in, this is what can happen. Those quick starts for Husson, just jumping all over.
Here's again, it's Lasley to Gerfin. And just off the mark there.
Stay high, ladies. Press. Come on, Deb.
Donahue trying to find St. Louis there. You mentioned it, Caden. A lot of people think that this is the north, but Fort Kent is truly north.
Pretty much one of those last towns on the American border.
Rutherford trying to run on, but unable to find the ball there. Oh, sends it to Speed.
I think one thing to keep an eye on as this game starts to unfold in these next 35 minutes of this first half is you'd like to see UMFK be a little bit more calm when they get possession of the ball. Right now, they just don't seem to know where they want to go next. Their head's not on the swivel. They're not noticing their runs that are being made. They're not noticing the next foot to find. And that's something when you're watching Husson in the midfield, that's what they're doing right now. Paige Dunn right there on the right-hand side. You could see her. She was very calm when she got the ball. She knew exactly where she wanted to go. Simple one-touch passing. The ball didn't stay on her foot for longer than 2 seconds. That is something that this Husson team has been so good at in these first couple of games.
And Kamoy Brown unable to find anybody on that free kick. You mentioned it, Caden. Unable to just find their foot, it seems, in this first half.
Number 4, Dejanay Lewis.
As we see a substitution here for Fort Kent. Dejanay Lewis coming on for the departing Javel Alexander. And you would have to think that Fort Kent will try and play the long ball and win those 50-50s. Playing a much more of an aerial game this game. So they have a lot of the height advantage in there in the middle.
Keep moving it. Yeah, step your line up a little bit.
It'll be Husson's throw here.
Can we swing? Can we swing? Get on, Ted.
Dunn trying to find Gerfin. Able to collect it.
Nothing? How's that not? Nothing?
It's a good challenge, says the referee.
Ran right through her.
Yeah, the Bengals got a little lucky there. There was full collapse on the sideline. Paige Dunn, just a simple turn. Once she got the ball, it opened up a lot for Taya Gerfin running onto it. Ends up getting knocked down, but by the looks of it, Husson will stay with possession now. The one blind spot in the press box is down this line.
It is a constant threat in every broadcast that we do is anytime the ball goes to that corner flag, of course, you, the viewers, don't have an issue, but up here, it's very, very hard to see. Lasley will let it run. Well, the last time these two teams played, UMFK up in Fort Kent did beat Husson 3-0, and we've already seen that scoreline reversed here. That was 4 years ago.
Yeah, that was one of the years Husson ended up going to the North Atlantic Conference Final. I think they lost to SUNY Delhi that year, if I remember right. It was either that year or the year before. I can't really remember, but that UMFK team just had a second-half explosion. 3 goals in the first 15 minutes of the second half, that is, that helped them take that victory.
We've seen quite the explosion here in this first half. Tarbox holding up play. Husson having just all of the ball at the moment.
Haley, go to the ball.
Here's Rutherford. Over to Jones, who's trying to play to anybody, but again, this defense of Husson just all over them. Here's Dixon. Dunn covering. Gets around 2. Tries to play one in, but Gerfin there to stuff out the chance.
Dixon, one of the most dangerous players on this UMFK team. You cannot give her space. 12 goals so far. 3 goals this season, but 12 goals in the last 3 years. Someone that's going to create that offense. Can't give her too much room if you're the Husson back line.
Here's Reed. Trying to find Lasley. Unable to go as far as Dunn. Dunn with a shot. It was a good effort, but off target.
Yeah, those shots outside the 18 have seemed to be what's troubled Thaw the most. She's looked very poised once you get close to her, reading the ball, reading the play, coming off her line. She's not bad at that at all, but those outside shots so far seem to be what she's struggled with. I think now we've seen at least 2 goals, Paige Dunn and Addie Lasley's goal that caught her by surprise from quick shots outside that 18 mark.
And the other one being the big deflection. Of course, that was the first goal.
Checking in for the Bengals, number 5, Brittany Charles.
So we see Brittany Charles coming in replace of, I believe, Christina Jones, who came off. Now Husson now with their first corner.
Taya, go with her. Haley, Taya, go to her. Haley. 2v1, 2v1. Get on the line, Taya. In closer. What are you doing? Did we not pay attention? Thank you. Here we go. There's no one here. Go to midfield. Hey, Lindsay Reed, who's going to go get it?
Husson played short.
Hey, sir,
Lasley taken down there. That'll be a foul.
keep the players safe. I understand, but
What are you looking for on this free kick, Nolan?
at least a warning.
Yeah, you want them to just continue the pressure that they've had all game so far. Maybe get into another area where you can hit one of those long shots that Thaw has struggled with.
A one-person wall as Nault takes. Cleared away. Donahue tried to find the pass. In there was St. Louis. Lasley was also there, collected though by Thaw. Georgia State is on the throw. That'll go out of play. Trying to play it long was Brown. Cleared by Smith. Out to Lasley, they'll call it a handball, I believe.
Yeah, number 8 for Fort Kent, Dixon, has been the most noticeable player for them so far.
Free kick taken by Brown. And again, Husson there to it first. Here's Speed. Unable to find St. Louis on that one. They'll play the throw in quickly and out again. Husson just continuing to have Fort Kent on their heels. They do go back to front very quickly when they have the ball. Donahue with the big one. She unable to find anybody in the middle. Thaws the first one to it.
And just like that, the Husson pressure forces a mistake for Fort Kent, trying to clear the ball out of their end.
Get up, get up!
Speed unable to recover on that one. We'll go only as far as Donahue.
Emma, find it! Emma, find it!
Here's Reed.
Hey, get it back!
UMFK is really trying to find something with these long balls in behind the Husson defense right now. But not only is the back line picking it up with ease, they just don't have those numbers forward to get that possession. Normally when you see those long ball plays, you have at least some wingers on the outside next to your striker who are ready for it, who can get any sort of ball that doesn't go right to the striker. The Bengals just don't seem to have that right now, and that's where they're losing most of this possession battle, is the Husson back line is just pinching immediately as soon as that ball finds some open space, and that is where Husson's gaining back possession, being able to counterattack effortlessly.
It is the trouble when you play the low block. It's hard to find possession, hard to get forward. As Laura Martell will come in now.
Because Husson is countering so effectively, you can see all the midfielders for Husson pushing up, which is drawing back those attacking midfielders or those wing backs. Like Dixon, for example, she's someone that's patrolling up and down this right line right now, but she can't stay up to get the ball to her players or gain the ball back from her defenders because she has to drop back. She has to stay on Gerfin, who's been incredibly dangerous on this left wing.
And that is something I think head coach Jermaine West will look to be talking with her about at halftime. It is certainly something that they'll look to try and change if they can.
Paige, you okay?
Play has been stopped here. Substitution is required. So Rutherford will come off. And Brianna Levesque, native of Caribou, will come on now in her place.
Checking in for the Bengals, number 24, Brianna Levesque.
Another one of those mistakes, and Husson right back on the ball.
And Dixon unable to get a good touch on the ball there, forcing it out of play. Nicholson with a long shot, not troubling the goalkeeper this time.
Devin, look!
And that free kick will go against the Eagles this time.
Ever since that 5-minute spurt to start the game, Husson has really become patient, I'd say, on offense. They're not really testing thaw like they did in those first couple minutes. They're not really making those same runs that they made in those first 5 minutes. And to counter that, the UMFK defense has really stepped up. They are limiting those chances, limiting those runs. They've more of a person mark. They've got Lasley covered as soon as she gets the ball. Something to keep an eye on. Husson can't get too patient.
Complacency is definitely something to be watching out for as the first half draws nearer and nearer. Certainly Dennis Mullen's side are well drilled in keeping up their energy, and if he feels that his team aren't performing, he can go to the bench. As the ball through from Donahue, not able to find Lasley. Here's the Vec, her first touch. It's a through ball to Lewis. Just unable to catch up to it. Early, a good scoring opportunity there with a throw in Husson territory, just unable to be anything on that one, Caden.
Yeah, obviously an out-of-conference game, so I think the real thing is, what does Coach West do with the game plan here? Does he go more aggressive, try to get the win, or does he stick with what he wants his team to play throughout the year and see more of what you're going to see throughout the year, find that more creativity throughout the midfield from those formations and those players you are going to play?
They're, of course, no strangers to this conference. They played last year both UMaine Presque Isle, they beat 2-0, and MMA, who they drew with 0-0.
Earlier this year, they hosted MMA. Lost that one only 2-1. MMA, obviously a great team. They've won pretty much every weekly award so far. They've had a Rookie of the Week, Defensive Player of the Week. I think probably even an Offensive Player of the Week, if I remember right. Good team that's going to be challenging for the NAC.
Dejanay Lewis there clearing the danger on what was another dangerous ball in from the Eagles.
This is their corner that I like a lot. They just crowd the keeper. Lasley's going to put this as close as she can to the 6-yard line. Hopefully finds a Husson head for her.
She's got a lot of big names in there. Donahue.
Good punch out by Thaw. Coming off her line, punching that one away. That one killed the chance immediately.
How frustrating is it, Nolan, as a goalkeeper to have that many players on you?
Yeah, I mean, no movement allowed, kind of take away the eyes, maybe like a goalie screen, if you will. So it's not easy, but she makes a great play coming out of her line, like Caden said, just punching that one out, killing the chance.
And here's a substitution that I know Fort Kent are not too pleased to see.
Number 11, Jackie Pangburn.
As Jackie Pangburn comes into this one to replace St. Louis. She's somebody who definitely knows how to find the score sheet. She found the score sheet twice in her last one and had multiple chances at getting her hat trick.
Yeah, I think 6 shots on goal for her. Her first 2 shots on goal were goal 1 and 2. Just wasn't able to find that third one. But she is someone that definitely poses a threat off the bench, which is crazy to think about. You have a threat in Lasley, a threat in St. Louis, And then you can go right to Pangburn off the bench for one of those two once they get tired throughout the first half. Then it becomes a lot scarier for you. Because once St. Louis is able to come back on, Lasley comes off, and then they just rotate those three throughout the entire game, and all three of them can find in the back of net wherever they want.
Hard to believe that she is just a freshman. Certainly has the goal-scoring touch. She's in some form at the moment.
Yeah, an all-region player, Penobscot Valley Conference first team in her senior year that featured 15 goals and 7 assists. So she knows how to create offensively. Did all of that right down the road at John Bass. Pretty easy recruiting for Dennis Mullins.
Certainly a lot of local talent in this area. That's always a plus. See a Husson throw here. Get another short one to Dunn. She'll look to play one in. She'll find Brown, who will clear it out. And they'll do it again. Seeing incredible confidence here from the Eagles. They have 10 players in Fort Kent's half. Their line playing very, very high, dangerously high, but that's just how confident they are. Here's Charles. And there is just that confidence for you.
And you can hear Dennis Mullins. They are able to do that because of how good they can recover.
Here's Dixon. She's got Brown coming in. She'll go alone. Easy save for Gabby Smith.
Yeah, first time she's been tested in this event.
Yeah, almost 40 minutes gone, or 30 minutes that is. That's the first time she's touched the ball from a shot. I mean, obviously a couple pickups. But other than that, it's been a pretty easy day for her, but she officially gets the save. So she can say she did something so far in this first half.
And you got to think Dixon did have Brown incoming, and she always looked like she was going to shoot. She'll be offside there. That's a strong suit for Husson. The offside trap. Both men's and the women's, they love to play it to startling effect. Going back to that chance, Dixon did have Brown that she could have played it across to, but again, unable to make anything of it. It was an easy save in the end.
Good, Kendra. That's better. Now hit it. Come on. Come on.
Dixon first to it. No one will pick her up, and just lacking on that one. That'll run on through to Smith. See, 2 quick chances for her, though. It's a reminder of how dangerous she could be if left unmarked.
Go on, set through.
And just under 14 minutes to play in this first half. It's been all Eagles on the score sheet. Lewis working hard in there, but it'll be Reed to collect. Martell, the through ball, unable to find Bangburn. Donahue taking your time there. Taken off the ball by Charles. They'll call it on Charles. Or excuse me, that's a throw-in. So we see a substitution here for the Eagles. Off comes Emma Nicholson, and in her place is Evie Flint.
Number 10, Evie Flint.
Here's Flint with her first touch on the ball. She'll go out to Gerfen. Looking to switch the play. It's done. And the through ball to Lasley. Unable to find her.
One thing that I feel like we've noticed the last 2 games that we really didn't notice in the Bates game is how much louder this Husson team is. Feels like they have a little bit more belief in themselves. They're louder when one gets the ball. They're screaming about who's open, what play they want to set. We didn't really see that in the Bates game, but these last 2 games, even the bench is getting loud for one another. We've started to notice it just a little bit more. I think that's a really good sign of a well-connected team who's really starting to believe in themselves and their abilities.
Well done, that's fine. Great tackle, Addie Lasley. Hey!
Lasley's taking off the ball there. Here's Dixon. Coming inside more to get more possession, more involvement. Trying to spark her team offensively. Beck taking off the ball there. It's speed now. And the cross unable to find her teammates in the middle. Cleared away by Caldona Jeffrey. Another substitution for the Eagles. As Paige Dunn comes off now.
Evelyn Hirado.
And Evelyn Hirado, native of Denver, Colorado, comes on. Speed, unable to play that ball in. And they'll win a corner. Well, another corner, Nolan. Another chance for the Eagles.
Yep. See if they can. Not much happening there.
Fired in too low as.
You know, last corner they came up and just passed that off before, and we're trying to gain possession that way. That one they're trying to go up to the wall, and nothing happening there.
It's so important to find when you do go for a long corner like that. As this one's in through to Lasley, unable to get a good amount of force on it. So important to get that ball over the first defender when you do play it long. Unable to do so that time. Flint with the header on a Gerfen. Martell loses it. Talbot playing it long.
Get it down, get it down. Good time. Well done, Evie. Good composure. Time. Check this, find it, Laura. Find it, Evelyn. Can we find that gap? Find the gap, Evelyn. Run through.
Not as much pressure on the ball from Fort Kent, especially in and around the goalkeeper area for Husson.
UMFK's back line has looked really solid, though. Ever since those 3 goals they let up, they've started shutting down the runs, shutting down early opportunities. We saw right there, Taya Gerfen, in the first 5 minutes, she'd be able to run right down that line with ease. But they have really shut that down. They put 2 defenders on her as soon as she got the ball. That is good adjustment from Coach West and these Bengals. But unfortunately, they let up those 3 goals, 3 mistakes.
And the through ball there by Cassie Schilter with her first touch of the game, finding or excuse me, unable to find the other substitute that came on. It's Jillian Long. Fighting for it is Pangburn. And they'll say last touched off Reed. Just want to run all the way back to Gabby Smith. We won't find anybody there. Long ball from Flint, looking for Gerfin. Thaw off her line, the cross is in. And finding it again is Pangburn. She was on the score sheet last week. She continues her incredible run of form. Getting on the score sheet now.
How about that? All first-year connection right there. Evie Flint down the line. Taya Gerfin across. Puts it right in the back of the net is Jackie Pangburn. 3 goals in the last 4 days now for her. Certainly on fire. The freshman from John Baps leaving an impression here in her John Boucher. Basically her first couple weeks here.
And now with under 6 minutes to play here, 4-0 is the score. Comfortable for Husson. And the ball they're trying to find Ella Hosford, who came on for Addie Leslie. And Nolan, what needs to change for Fort Kent in these last 5 minutes?
They gotta find a way to make Husson's defense make mistakes and get rattled. Every time they've been in there, it's been like a 2-on-4, or they just make unforced mistakes. So if you're Fort Kent, you got to get some pressure going.
For Husson, number 2, Ailey Irons.
Certainly a lot less pressure that we saw from the 2 previous games against Bates and St. Joe's. Husson having a lot more time on the ball now. And to your point, Husson, I think, anticipating that to some extent as Taya Gerfin comes off and on comes Ailey Irons. Here's Hosford with her first touches. She'll look for Reed.
And Fort Kent defensively has been better since allowing the first 3 goals early within the 5-minute mark.
Yeah, I'd say in these last 30 minutes, you can really only point to one mistake they've made, and Husson just scored on it.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's many defenses, even in the North Atlantic Conference, that are going to stop a goal and an opportunity like that. That is just well-connected passing from defense to offense and easy flow to score a goal.
Like tic-tac-toe.
I was never any good at tic-tac-toe.
It's always easy. You always got to start at the corners.
I start in the middle.
That's what I do, and that's why I
never,
always lose.
Never start in the middle.
No?
Always go corner.
Oh, well, that's why I'm not good at it.
Hosford screaming for it. She won't get it.
And at this point, Husson just kind of taking on possession like they have all game.
Levesque able to intercept. Collision with Schilter. And again, just in the final third, they've been frustrating this half. But Husson's defense just all over them.
Husson's defense plays so confident. It's like they know where the ball is going to go before it even happens.
This one will run through looking for irons. But shielding it was Dixon.
Haley, with 2 minutes left, we don't need to play back here. Everything's up. Everything is away.
Again, a turnover by Fort Kent. Here's Dixon.
That's us. Well done. Well done. Here we go. On the run.
Certainly seen them get the ball back quicker on their turnovers that they do force. Something that has been a problem for them this first half, but they seem to be showing signs of improvement. So we move under 2 minutes here at Boucher in a first half that has just been all Husson. 4-0 is the score.
Got to think head coach Dennis Mullins is going to be pretty happy with his Husson squad after this first half.
Might see a lot more substitutions in that second half, looking to get a lot of those younger players more minutes.
Find the corner flag.
Good touch there.
A good through ball by Martell, looking for Jillian Long, who's unable to keep it. As we have a substitution here,
Into the game for the
Martell
Eagles,
departs
number
for
22, Caitlin Jones.
Caitlin Jones.
Haley, you got to creep in on that one. Hey, be smart. 30 seconds. Girls, drop back. 30 seconds. Drop and reset.
30 seconds now remaining in this first half. Eagles looking for one more attack, maybe adding a fifth to this already impressive scoreline.
That's all right. Swing it around again. Keep it for 15 seconds. Just keep it. Just keep it. Go ahead, Ella. Go. That's all right. Hold on to it. Hold on to it. Kill it.
And she'll let it go, and that will do it for the first half in what has been all Husson, all one-way traffic for the Eagles as they put 4 on the board against UMFK. Aiden, what have you liked so far from the Eagles?
I think it's more of what we saw against St. Joe's, that they're really executing well. They're winning their 50-50 battles. They're winning the first ball, second ball, and then they're able to play off of that. They're just very calm right now with the ball. I mean, even in the first 5 minutes, even though they scored 3 goals, we saw it even then. They're just calm when they get the ball at their feet. They know what they want to do. They know who they want to go to, and they know their game plan. They're just doing a tremendous job executing it.
And Nolan, certainly a tough task for any side, let alone a side who are currently the champions. What does UMFK have to do to improve on this daunting scoreline at the moment?
I think right now their defense has played extremely better than the first 5 minutes of the game looked like. I think they've got to start to get going offensively. We've seen Dixon kind of take it up the side. I think if they're going to score a goal, it's going to run through her. They've had some chances, but it goes back to just Husson's defense being good, calm, cool, and collected, being able to read the play and intercept the ball. So, if Fort Kent's going to score, I think they've got to get it into their zone. They've got to play with just more pressure. I think pressure is going to get them where they need to be, because right now Gabby Smith, I believe, just saved 1 shot, and that's it.
How have you liked your Boucher debut so far?
It's good. It's fun.
45.
It's fun, yeah. It's been good.
Well, we will be back in 13 minutes with at the start of the second half for you. 4-0 is the score currently. Husson on top of UMaine Fort Kent. Welcome back to Boucher for the start of the second half. Well, one side has been in Husson University just absolutely dominant as far as the score sheet's concerned, as we see immediately off the kickoff. Husson sending multiple women forward to try and get in the attack. An early cross here, skimmed by St. Louis, and it'll run on to Thaw. Well, on one side, as Long unable to get the connection on that. Certainly a case of, on one side for Husson, just continuing on in the form that you played, and I think that talk on the other side would have been rather brief. Caden, isn't it just a case of if they scored 4 in the first half, you go and do that in the second half?
Yeah, definitely Kobe, but again, this is an out-of-conference game, and UMFK isn't part of the NCAA. They're part of the NAIA, so they know they're punching above weight class right now. But so this is something that's not going to be detrimental to their record or their conference play. Same goes for Husson. So you're really just trying to work on your little things as a team. And I'm sure Coach West on the other side is saying that a little bit. I mean, there has been some struggles that you've seen. They've not been as calm on their first touch. Their back line made a couple mistakes in the first 5 minutes, but started back. So I'm sure that's all he's talking about right now. He's talking about, hey, we got to stay connected. We got to keep our midfield play going, because this is stuff that later in the year when we start playing those conference games, we're going to need to step up if we're going to win some games and challenge nationally.
And just getting her first touch was Madison Weigler. Nolan, what do you have on her?
Yeah, this year she's got only one game played, about 9 minutes, but last year she went 8-5 and won 4 shutouts with a 56.3 save percentage and a 1.9 goals against.
Certainly a big presence for Husson in that net. Of course, her injury, there was questions on whether or not she'd be able to return, and if her counterpart, Gabby Smith, could fill her shoes, and she's certainly done that. Caden, do you anticipate any sort of battle between the two of them for the number one?
It's definitely hard to say, because Madison Weigler, ever since she was a freshman, has stepped into the role of the number one netminder. She did battle Hannah Kenny, who went down with an injury her freshman year, but Weigler was able to step in and absolutely command the net. She's done a great job across her 4 years here, and kind of same thing happened to her. She goes down with an injury in her first 9 minutes at Emerson to open the season, and a freshman comes in and has played really, really good, but I think it is Weigler's net to lose. I think it was just a nagging injury. Give the freshman some out-of-conference experience, but once the conference games goes around, I would anticipate all 9 to go to Weigler, but they've set themselves up good for next year, especially with Gabby Smith, as now she's gotten experience and she's performed very well against some tough opponents.
And that experience, of course, it does help when you have, again, a truly great goalkeeper in net, as Weigler is, to be able to have that sort of voice day in and day out telling you the things that you can be working on and what to expect. It should come as no surprise to us that she was able to step in Weigler's absence and just put on great performances. Working hard to get possession. Back was Johnson. Lindsay Reed a little off target with that pass. Dixon to run onto it. And Irons will clear. I believe Weigler kept that one in. And the possession stats for two teams in that first half, I mean, it was just all Husson, no surprise, over 60% playing like Manchester City out there. Manchester City of old, that is. But certainly a lot of the ball, a lot of possession. 8 shots. You have to feel that sort of
Don't back out of that challenge.
dominance will continue in this second half.
Go through it. Hold down.
Lewis with the ball over the top to Pangburn. Left it for Dunn, who was unable to get a good shot away.
Who's got 1-3? Jill. 4 is yours. This one's Kendrick. Free! Free! Why? For what? Garbage.
Certainly some voices down on the Husson bench unhappy with that call.
Hey, I think we're a little far back. Emma, I think we're a little far back. Hold the red line. Dad, you gotta go 4.
Brown's free kick, unable to find anybody there. Cleared out by Nicholson. Brown and Pangburn battling for it. Here's Tarbox. Tried to play it to St. Louis. Does find Irons, who takes it on, and nearly a 5th goal, Caden.
Yeah, that was a great find by Tarbox in the middle. Someone, only the sophomore, but she has made quite the impact in her first 2 years here. Came off the bench a lot last year, providing a spark in the midfield. Finds an open Ailey Irons just all alone. That is one thing UMFK has done consistently, is leave the wingers open. Husson has taken advantage of it. That's the style they like, playing through the wingers. That time, Ailey Irons almost finds the score sheet.
And perhaps even more open on that right side was Jillian Long, who can also whip in a good ball.
Big one, Jillian. Get in the box. Paige, get in the box.
Long goes long with that throw. Brown heads it clear.
Hey, big throw, big throw. Jillian, big. Big throw. Jillian, big. Well done, Paige,
And
done.
Dunn going in strong there on the tackle.
Fight it, fight it, fight it.
And we will have a stoppage now. And back to the chance, Caden, earlier by Irons. She does know how to find the back of the net here at Boucher. 1 goal on the season, but she seems to routinely make those runs and make 1 or 2 chances for herself. Play resumes.
Keep talking, Black. We involve people for that way. Yeah, throw it. First 2 of Black, win this. No step, get up.
Forced to go back with the throw and pressured by St. Louis, forcing that one out. Trying to find Long, but just too strong on the throw. And Dunn trying to play a ball over the top to Pangburn there, but again it'll run through. Good header by Reed. cleared away this time by Talbot. So Caden, it seems, almost 10 minutes gone here in this second half. Husson seem all too content to just keep making these chances and take them as they come, as that one might go against Dixon for a dangerous. But Husson all too content with just keeping the ball and making the chances as they come.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the chances are going to fall for them. This is a great goal-scoring team. We've seen that the last 3 years, and under the Dennis Mullins era, they can find the back of the net with ease. They know they have the players for it. Obviously, they're up 4-0, 10 minutes in. Same thing that we saw in the last 10 minutes or the last 20 minutes, really. UMFK just really stepping it up defensively, and Husson just having trouble finding the back of the net and converting on their chances.
And Dunn again, the shot from distance off the short corner. Not finding a way through. Seen that from her. 1 or 2 blocks on a couple of her efforts. She, of course, scored from long distance earlier in the match, giving Husson a 2-0 lead. This one falls to St. Louis, and Reed with one that she'll want back.
I'm not sure if that was a true shot attempt from Reed. I think that was just trying to find a foot, find a deflection. Lindsay Reed can certainly get a foot on it when she wants to, but especially from that distance, we've seen Lindsay Reed put a couple close shots in before, but I think that one was just trying to find the right person in front to tip it back in.
Oh my God! Sir, just kicked her in the face.
Keep it up, Jack. You're good.
Cleared by Dixon on the throw.
Find your marks. Get tight.
Getting a long ball played in Husson's defense.
Just easy, just easy.
Able to take their time and pick up the scraps. As Weigler settles into this one. And looking at Husson's next game, on the 20th, they host Leslie. First in-conference matchup for them. And it's certainly been a strong showing from them here today, Caden. Do you expect that to continue?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Leslie is one of their strongest opponents that they'll play. They got a new head coach. They were super young last year. Got to the East Regional against Husson, where they think they lost 4-0 or something of the sorts. So Leslie is going to come back, especially with some fire, especially playing back on this field where they lost last season. But I'm excited to see what that Leslie team has in store, because they are a very strong team that is going to put up a tough competition. They're young, and I'm interested to see what the new coach has for them.
That one right off of the goal kick. St. Louis was the first to it. Good chance there to maybe bring it to 5, but good awareness by St. Louis to get there first and recognize the chance. Along with a flick on to Tarbox. That's touched off Donahue. And don't want to get too far ahead, but on the 24th, they Husson women travel away to Bowdoin, which is sure to be a tough game.
Yeah, Bowdoin's always a good test for pretty much any team that they face. Bowdoin, especially their soccer programs, are always in national contention. It's always interesting to see what a Husson team can do against them. Obviously, the men's went down against number 17 ranked and lost 4-0. Don't know too much about the women's Bowdoin team, but I'm sure they're built the same way, built with speed, built with hard work.
Certainly a tough customer every time Husson find themselves playing home or away, as that one will be called back for an offside.
But I do like that matchup a couple days after conference play starts. That really allows you to not only use your bench more for an out-of-conference game, but it allows your players to play up in a class. I mean, NESCAC is always in those nationally ranked contentions. So it allows your players to play with a little bit more faster pace, allows you to open your bench, give those freshmen some experience against a team that is always going to be nationally ranked, nationally contention, competing for a national title every year.
A couple of good opportunities there. Nicholson and then Reed with a good header. Lasley flicked it on, trying to find St. Louis. I believe that was Tarbach, excuse me. And we'll see two substitutions now. Donahue and Nicholson coming off for Chilter and
Into the game for
Nault.
Husson, number 23, Kaylee Nault, and number 25, Cassie Schilter.
I'm surprised that we haven't seen more of the Husson bench as we're coming to the nearer and nearer. Just under 29 minutes ago. But we'll likely be seeing more of them as the game wears on. Here's Pangburn. Irons with the ball in. And that's the keeper's ball. Irons wins it back. Puts in another ball. And this one will run on through to Weigler, but we will have a stop.
Hey, play it back to Maddie. Should be her drop ball.
And so we have a stoppage here as Devin A. Lewis got the worse off on that challenge. And remains down. But looking ahead to Fort Kent's next game, they're facing Assumption University, and they'll travel to Worcester, Mass on the 16th. What do you expect to see, Nolan?
A long drive.
That's to be expected.
Yeah.
And how much of an impact, of course, a lot can be said about this game and it being really over after seemingly the last 15 minutes, the first 15 minutes of it, but how much does that drive, having to sit down, unable to move, how much does that impact you as an opposing player?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of sit there trying to prepare, I guess, mentally, because you can't do nothing physically. You're on the bus. It's not fun. You kind of just want to skip the bus drive and get straight to the game. So it's never fun, but, people can use it to sleep, recover, do kind of whatever they need to, maybe go over the playbook, play sheets, whatever they have, and try to get ready as best you can for that game. But it feels like playing up in Maine, anywhere in Maine. You kind of have to travel. That's just part of it.
It certainly is. It's the largermost state of the states in New England.
Yep.
I believe it was said that all of the other New England states could fit in the state of Maine quite easily. But that is something certainly to take into account.
Yep. And especially getting here this morning, sometimes you can get a hotel the night before, and I think that helps any athlete prepare a little bit better than if you were to just wake up 6 a.m., 5 a.m., whatever it is, and hop on a bus. Because now you're sleeping on the bus. You're trying to catch up on that rest that maybe you didn't get the night before.
Do you plan for that going into something like that? I don't know if you played any travel hockey or anything, but
I played lacrosse last year here, so you got to plan for that. We took a spring trip, and you go to bed earlier than you used to. You got to go to bed a little bit earlier to prepare for that.
Number 28, Taya Gerfin, and number 6, Addie Lasley.
I like to either kind of scout my opponent on the bus or sleep. Those are my two favorite things. So you can kind of get prepared doing that.
So we see substitutions now, both sides with a lot of changes.
Forehand just struggling to get into the Husson D zone there.
Yeah, it's certainly been a struggle for them
all day.
All day, as they're just looking to see out the rest of this one. As Caden mentioned earlier, it's all a matter now of working on the little things and preparing for their next match.
Yep.
You want to get yourself a goal for them would be very big in these closing 25 minutes or so.
Give you some confidence, some momentum going into your next matchup.
Is that a confidence builder, do you think, to score a goal?
Yeah, I think you need maybe more than one, but yeah, I think, no matter what the scoreboard says, I think if you can feel like you've played a good game, it's always a confidence booster. So, for Kent, one thing that they can kind of build up on confidence is the fact that after the 5-minute mark in the first half, their defense was really, really good. They can build on that. That's a positive that you can bring.
Here's Gerfin unable to put that one home. It was a tight angle on her.
Great through pass there.
Great through ball. Great support provided. A lot of these Husson midfielders now that they really know what ball to play and at what time to do so. Header won again by Reed, and Dunn finding speed. Lofts one. And Thaw getting the most of St. Louis on that. You can hear the frustration on the Husson bench there on that no call. The ref admitting to him plainly that he didn't see it.
Yep.
It's maybe not the best way to phrase that. But referees are human too.
Yep.
They miss things like we do.
Reed with a good box out there to continue taking this possession time up for Husson.
This As we mentioned earlier, the possession that reached 63% in that first half.
Yep.
And the referee calling that one, I believe that one on Reed. It's turning into a little bit more of a physical game the second half than we saw maybe in the first.
Yeah, and I think that's going to happen. Fort Kent has to take chances. You know, they want to get on the board, so they're going to play more of an aggressive style, maybe a little bit more of a physical style. If you're Fort Kent, you're just trying to walk out of here with a win in any way. So.
And applause from the Boucher faithful as Kendona Jeffrey back to her feet now. Not really much of a lacrosse man myself, but what are some of your fondest memories?
Yeah, doing the spring trip last year, that's always fun. Going down to North Carolina, Virginia, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. Kind of doing all those states. It's fun, it's tiring, but it's a fun time hanging out with the guys and, you know, just playing lacrosse.
Free kick by Brown. Tried to find Jeffrey. It will go in. Keldona Jeffrey with her first goal of the season on the free kick. That's caught Weigler by surprise.
Yeah, it looked like it was like a little header deflection there that just snuck past her.
And she won't matter how it went in, just that it went in.
Yep.
Erasing now Husson's clean sheet that they've worked so hard for, that defense.
And it was going to take kind of like a lucky bounce, if you will, to get on the board here against this great Husson defense.
Now, they go again now with the score 4-1.
Bengals goal scored by number 17, Keldona Jeffrey. Assist to number 11, Kamoy Brown.
And now Tarbox lays it off to Speed, who puts an early ball into the back post. Unable to find either Lasley or Gerfen. Husson looking to respond immediately after conceding. Well, there is your momentum builder, Nolan, as you said.
Yep. And I'm curious to see what this does for this Fort Kent team here. You know, they're still in it, so I wonder if they play that way.
22 minutes to play. Stranger things have happened, although it'll take a monumental effort.
Yep.
Here's Dunn with a long shot. Unafraid to shoot from anywhere. A lot of quality. Just not able to find it that time.
And there's been Fort Kent's best player there. Their goalie, Triana Thal.
Shield by Reed. And just a little too much on it.
Fort Kent here forcing Husson to make a little bit of mistakes.
It's interesting to note about that first half that just went all Husson's way. It was almost all Husson's way as the attacking in the final third for Fort Kent, 13% versus 19% going the other way. It's a big challenge there by Dixon. resulting in a Husson free kick.
Yeah, and you talk about possession. A lot of that possession time came from Fort Kent's goalie Thaw, kind of just having the ball a lot, kind of controlling that, passing out of the crease net.
Everybody queuing up in the middle here as Dunn takes the free kick. It's a very good one and a clean pair of hands from Thaw.
Tracked it all the way through.
Maddie, come on! Come on, Maddie!
Maddie Weigler able to get that one. Not quite with the amount of spring that we saw from Gabby Smith, but and we'll see another foul here going against the Eagles. Similar position to where Fort Kent scored their last goal.
Yep.
Certainly, maybe one or two of those calls wouldn't have been made in the first half, but the referee a little more lenient, it seems, in this second half. Be Brown again to take the free kick. It's a great ball in, and it'll drop and in for Shyla Francis. Her fourth goal of the season coming on a set piece. As all of a sudden now, maybe a few questions have to be asked. UMFK certainly finding a lifeline back into this one. It's not over yet, Nolan.
No, and that
Bengals goal scored by
looked
number
exactly
10,
like the
Shyla
first
Francis,
play we saw
assisted
on the
for
first goal that they scored. So, wonder there, I mean, that's their sweet spot. They like it in there, and that was just a great shot. Great placement by Shyla Francis. And I think that momentum is now on Fort Kent's side. So, see how Husson can respond here. Going back to playing the possession game.
Nope, able to find Gerfen. Husson looking for a response here quickly to try and kindle the fire of any sort of comeback. They're well aware of what happened against Bates a couple of weeks ago. Here's Gerfen. Hensley pressed off the ball there. Here's Schilter for Husson. Speed unable to get that one. She was in a lot of space there. She'll play it into Reed. Dunn with a lot of space. She'll shoot. And again, unable to find the target. As we've got a substitution now. Nicholson coming back in for Tarbox. As we see a formation change from the Eagles. Putting another one in midfield. Blocked by Brown. And
Let's see if Fort Kent can try to move this ball.
Levesque trying to move it forward, unable to.
Good defense there by Husson.
Dunn trying to get anything on it. And that one will go as a goal kick. Goal kick taken short. Immediately pressed on by the Eagles, and they'll win the throw. Here's Nicholson, who just entered the game. Able to win back the ball there. Schilter plays a great ball. It's Nicholson again with the turn. Chilter looks to switch the play. Husson looking to attack from the sides here. And just unable to find a good ball there was Lasley.
Not bad, though. They strung together a couple of good passes there. Just needed one more.
Drop in, Riley. Come on.
Good pressure, Paige. Pull him out. Good pressure, Paige.
Well, if Husson do hold on
Take your time, Maddie. Take your time.
in this one, that'll be their 11th win here at home in this series. A loss here would tie for the Eagles their longest losing streak against Fort Kent at 2.
Good box
Great
out
ball
from
in.
Reed.
And Speed couldn't find the touch. Nicholson. And it's Levesque to remove the danger for the moment.
Good play so far by Nicholson there.
To shield off and draw a foul. Brown boots it long. Finds Francis, the goal scorer.
Yellow card issued to Husson's number 29, Paige Dunn.
And I apologize for that. I did miss it. It was a yellow card that was given to Dunn for that challenge. And that'll be her first of the year. Nault plays the free kick long. Away by Brown. Only as far as Dunn. He tries to find the space to Speed, but it'll be cleared out. Husson will get the throw.
Take your time, Riley. Take your time. Slow it down, right?
And they'll force a corner with that one. Well, we've seen them crowd the keeper on previous corners. We've seen them crowd the 18. What are you thinking here, Nolan?
Yeah, it looks like they're going to go away from the keeper here, which might be a good move last time. Now they'll go towards it.
That ball aimed for the back post, just a little too high.
Thaw's been really good at kind of protecting the inside on every corner that Husson has had.
Chilter unable to find it there. It's through to Francis. She's got support. Tries to find her support, but a good clear by Dunn on a play that could have been very dangerous for Husson.
Yeah, what a job for Husson D to be able to get back there, prevent a shot.
They move as a unit, this defense.
It looked like it could have been a one-goal game here.
And Reed with a great ball into Lasley. Can she find her strike partner, Lewis? Question of handball there, but not given.
They can score with their hands, but not defend with their hands, right?
Yeah, Husson throw here. Reed has a long shot, and again, that one's directly at Thaw. Seen a number of those chances from Husson. No foul there. That Nichols will continue. And it was play on as a yellow will be issued now for that tackle.
Got to use your head on those balls. There's no excuse for that.
Now a good opportunity here. Might seem like a long way out, but if you remember back to that Bates game, this is exactly this kind of play where Reed was able to get her head on a goal. They'll look to Reed and punched away by the goalkeeper.
Yeah, Thal just goes through traffic there to punch that one out.
Guys, keep your heads.
We will get a substitution here as was an injured player. Rosario Talbot will depart for Lillian Clark to come back into the game.
Into the game for the Bengals, number 3, Lillian Clark.
Here's Gerfin with a burst of speed, but just not able to keep it in.
Had a good dribble past one defender, then just lost the ball off her foot.
Not seeing too much urgency in this Fort Kent side, who are still 2 goals down, remember. But certainly looking to play to their strengths that have got them those 2 goals.
I think Husson did a great job at just kind of killing the momentum. All the confidence that Fort Kent had, it seems like it just went out the window.
As the clock wears down, time begins to be less and less on their side. As Brown unable to keep that one in. Here's Lasley, a good chance here. Plays a ball into Nichols. And unable to get it clear. The Bengals, Nichols turns. She'll go alone. And that last touched off a Bengals defender. We'll see another corner. It's a great spell from the defender.
Yeah, dribbled through a couple of people, did Nichols in.
Look to crowd the keeper this time.
Keep an eye out for Red and Thal.
And speed. It's a good ball in, but
Great ball in. It looked like nobody was around.
just not strong enough on the header. Here's Reed again. Or Speed, rather. Now the ball's into the back post. But this one will be brought back. Looks to be offside.
Couple of good chances for the Husson offense there.
You got to think there is at least one more goal in it for Husson. It's there if they want it. This one will go right to Dunn. And just trying to get a pass in was St. Louis.
Now you're exposed. We don't need to press that, ladies. We have the lead. Hey, every time you do, you go.
There's Lewis.
Man on.
And letting it roll now is Schilter.
Yeah, maybe Husson forwards there being a little bit too aggressive when Thal has the ball.
It's certainly something that you preach as a coach. You do want your forwards to be aggressive. You want them to be hungry in at goal.
Yeah, but you don't want to leave your matchup.
Certainly not, as the kick is to Nicholson. Dunn finding the run of Gerfin. It was a good spot Now Husson can break. And just trying to play that one in was Gerfen. Not a lot of opportunity to get a ball in to the box. Had to go for it herself.
Gotta be smarter right now. Come on.
And Nault clears. Almost hit us.
Yeah, I thought you were going to catch it for a second there.
That would have been some accuracy.
And it's clear what Fort Kent's main objective here. They're trying to get the ball to freshman Shyla Francis, number 10.
Seen certainly a quieter half offensively from Dixon. Someone we were applauding in the first half for creating a lot of chances. Just hasn't seen much of the ball.
Yeah.
And she loses it there.
And how much is that, to praise Husson, for maybe locking her off and not allowing her to have chances like she had in the first half.
This one brought all the way back to Jeffrey, one of the goal scorers on the day. Brown plays it to Dixon, who will be offside.
Just as we talk about her. Ball goes her way.
Again, Husson's defense alert to it. They do play, as we mentioned earlier, that offside trap very, very well.
All the way up here. All the way up.
Now content to hold it now are the Eagles. As we're just under 6 minutes left in this game, which at one point didn't always look too decisive for the Eagles. A couple of chances that fell the way of Fort Kent off of a couple free kicks, proving to maybe be a little bit of an Achilles heel for them. We've certainly seen this earlier in the season.
There's Dixon with it.
Tried to find Levesque, but it goes out of play.
Go big. Go big.
Go through the big throw looking for Dunn.
Cassie's throw. Cassie's throw.
They'll say it's last touched off Lewis.
Keep going, Ryan. All the way up. Go,
5 minutes remaining. Here at Boucher. 4-2 is your score.
There goes Dixon.
And good job taking her off the ball there was Cassie Schilter. Surprised to see these starters go most of this game. I would have thought that Coach Dennis Mullins would have wanted to use his bench more and get more players in, but that's certainly why I am not a coach.
Yeah, maybe wanting to send a message.
And that's just it. I'm very much in favor of coaches doing that.
Set the tone, maybe.
Looking to make other teams in their conference aware just how good they are, just how much they have.
Yep. Just like for the game next weekend.
That game again against Leslie. That will be September 20th, and that's part of a doubleheader. The men also play.
Hey, play smart here. Everything stays in front.
As Jackie Pangburn is ready to come on for the Eagles. She'll have to wait, though.
Everything's up and out. Yep, come on. Get up. Go ahead, Deb. Go ahead, Deb. Go ahead.
On a slip, I thought, but able to recover.
Yeah, great recover there by Thaw. Slipped on that turf. Able to recover before Husson made her pay for that.
And there is that substitution as Devin St. Louis comes off. On comes Jackie Pangburn, one of the goal scorers.
Into the game for Husson, number 11, Jackie Pangburn.
Ball here. Behind you, Cass.
I got you in action. When you in action, you like this.
And if you're Fort Kent, 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go, this is the time.
Well, again, stranger things have happened, but we saw 2 quick goals by Bates. As that one's going to go for a handball on Madison Higgins. But we have seen Husson blitzed with 2 goals in previous fixtures. I want to ensure, though, that they continue to do the basics and see this game out. And nothing doing on that attack.
Yeah, great play there by Riley Speed, clearing that ball out. She's on it again there.
And Weigler can hold as we are closer and closer. 95 seconds left in this game.
Other than the 2 goals that Husson's allowed, it's been a really good day for Husson. Their defense has been connected all day.
I've heard this too said from coaches, that especially when their team are very dominant, they almost, I don't know, I can't speak for Dennis Mullins, but certainly I've heard it said that they almost like it when they don't have it all their own way, so it gives them something clear that they can work on to face.
Yeah, a coach is always going to tell you that there's always something to work on.
Now entering into 40 seconds now, as this one is all but wrapped up here. Again, the women will be back in action on the 20th against Leslie. That's a doubleheader for you. The men also will be playing Leslie. Tomorrow we will actually be back in action for you as the Husson women's field hockey will play Colby. That game will start at 1 o'clock. We'll feature myself, Nolan, and Owen Snow. But as for this one, Husson at full time, 4-2 victors. Back-to-back victories here, their 3rd win on the season. As they move to 3-2, UMaine Fort Kent falls to 2-3. What a game we've seen, Nolan.
Yep, good battle from both.
And who's been your standout performer for both sides?
Yeah, for UMaine Fort Kent Bengals, I'm gonna have to go Drianna Thal. You know that she was seeing the ball well, made all the right decisions. I feel like in goal. So, you know, for UMaine Fort Kent, she'll be my player of the game. And then for Husson, I feel like it could have went a couple of other ways.
Could have given it to the entire defense.
Yep. You know,
offense. Everybody has just been on top form.
Addie Lasley with the 2 goals quick. I think that set the momentum for Husson. So she'll be my player of the game for Husson. But, you know, it could have went to, 5 or 6 or 7 other kind of, players on that Husson team.
And, of course, those 2 goals, as you mentioned, by Lasley, just catching, it seemed, the Bengals out. And Paige Dunn would add a 3rd. Jackie Pangburn adding a 4th. It is windy up here as we're losing our papers. I think that's a sign that we should wrap it up. But the 2 goal scorers for you for the Bengals, and Donna Jeffrey on the free kick, and Shyla Francis able to get on the score sheet. But Husson, another game in the win circle for them. And for Philip Robarge, Nolan Humphreys, and Caden Trenowith, we will see you against Leslie on Saturday the 20th. Bye for now.